Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full face of ShopMissA makeup from ShopMissA. I have some new products here that I featured in a recent ShopMissA haul. I will drop that link down below in case you want to check it out. I have some new highlighters, which I did swatch in that video, so be sure to check that video out if you want to see the actual swatches. I have some face palettes, some lip products, but let's go ahead and dive into putting on primer first. I'm just going to use my A+ No Pore Face Primer. This is one of my absolute favorites. This one is my second one. I've already finished one. It has kind of a silicone feel to it, but there is no silicone in it. I find that it does a really good job with smoothing pores, mattifying the skin. I think I put just a little bit too much on. As I was saying, it does a good job of mattifying the skin, filling in pores. Kind of leaves everything nice and blurred. And at only $1.88, yeah, it's a really nice budget-friendly formula as well. See, I don't know if you can tell, when I first started filming the video, my face was a little bit shiny. I kind of got started a little bit late, so my skincare kind of sunk in. A little bit of my natural oil started to come through, but as you can see, this primer has already done a really good job of mattifying. All right, for foundation, I'm going to be using my AOA Studio Vitaglow Tinted Moisturizer. The shade is tan. Formula has vitamin C in it. Unfortunately, there are only like 5 shades, but because it's only like $1, you can buy multiple shades and mix and match to find a shade match if you need to. I'm gonna squeeze a little bit onto my makeup sponge. That's what the formula is looking like. This formula gives coverage, but not like super coverage because it is a tinted moisturizer, but I do really like the finish. I think it gives me just the right amount of coverage for, you know, those kind of light makeup days, but it's very skin-like. Like, you just don't look like you're wearing foundation at all with this product. I don't have a concealer from ShopMissA that we're going to be using today, so I'm just going to be using my Wet n Wild Incognito concealer. The shade is in medium golden. I find this formula does a really good job of, you know, just kind of covering dark circles and making the under eyes look a little bit brighter. But just like this Vitaskin tinted moisturizer from AOA Studio, it looks very natural. Like, you don't look like you're wearing heavy concealer underneath your eyes. It's very lightweight, and I don't see any like really heavy creasing or anything with this concealer. It's a really, really good one. I'm gonna add a little bit of extra coverage around the nose and just kind of brighten the forehead. I'm having a little kind of like dry patches up here. I don't know if it's like eczema, but it's causing the skin to peel like in this area. It's very weird. After blending out that tinted moisturizer, you can definitely see that my skin is definitely more glowy than it was before. They don't call it Vitaglow for nothing. Alright, now as I do have oily skin, I'm going to go ahead and take down the shine with the AOA Studio Perfect Loose Setting Powder in Banana. This powder is $1, and it is one of my absolute favorite powders. One of my favorites in my collection, one of my favorites I've ever used. It's very lightweight, looks like skin, just melts right in, does a good job of blurring, and it does a good job of helping my makeup to wear really well throughout the day. I realized I had my pink brightening powder instead of the banana powder, so I had to switch it out real quick. Not wanting to do pink brightening powder all over my face. Just gonna take my sponge, dip it into my powder. This is a way that I like to apply my powder. I feel like it really helps it to just like sink in, melt in with the skin. Because you're pushing it in to the skin, it just really helps to set everything down and helps everything wear a little bit longer. At least that's the experience for me. I've tried using powder brushes to apply powder, and they don't really work for me. To set the under eyes, I'm going to attempt to use what's supposed to be a cheek brush, but as you can see, it's pretty small. It has this little angled end on it. I'm going to attempt to use that to set my under eyes. So I'm going to take it, dip it into my powder, shake off some of the excess, and then we're just going to press it under the eyes. I usually use a sponge, but when I saw the shape of this brush and just how soft it was, I thought it'd be a good tool for powder. And yep, that actually worked pretty good. It fits underneath the eye really, really well. Might try it to apply concealer one day, but yeah, for powder, it actually works pretty decently. For my brows, I'm going to use my AOA Studio Slim Brow Pencil in dark brown. I like the fact that it has a really nice little micro point on one end, and on the other end there is a spoolie. I'm going to fill my brows in off camera, and then we'll come back and move on with the rest of the face. I've already primed my eyelids using my Milani eyeshadow primer, so we're going to move into bronzer, highlighter, and blush while this sets down. The bronzer palette we're going to be using today is from Princessa. When I showed you guys this in that haul video, the shades kind of look like they might be a little bit too light for me, but we're going to try it. We're going to test it out. The shade that I'm going to use today, or attempt to use today, is Super Shock. I'm going to start there, and then if it's too light, then I may go into one of these. But we're going to start here and just kind of see what happens. I'm going to use my little fluffy brush here from Beauty Bay. Shake off the excess, and let's start. I'm going to put it, you know, what we do where the sun hits us. Actually, that's not too bad. It's a little more on the cool tone side. You guys know I prefer a little bit warmer. This is a little more cool neutral, maybe. But it's actually blending out pretty good. It's not too light like I was thinking it might be. A little bit here, on some on my cheeks. I like to put a little bit in this area too, because this is where, one of those places where you get a little sun-kissed. I mean, it's not my favorite bronzer formula, but it's okay. Moving on to blush, I have two palettes. Both of them are from BR Beauty. There are no names of the palettes. There are no shades or anything. This is one of them. These shades are a little bit more muted. I did swatch these outside that video, and these are actually deeper than I thought they would. Like, I was worried that they weren't going to show up on my skin or that they might work more as a highlighter, but these are mostly matte, except for I think a couple of them. And in the swatches, they do look like they're going to be deep enough for my skin, so that's nice. And then the other palette is this one. Once again, it does not have any shade names or anything. The eyeshadow palette that we're going to be using is also from BR Beauty. This is what it looks like. I'm thinking I'm going to go with something in here, a little more muted, so that way, you know, we don't have something like too super bright and I'm not looking clownish over here. See, this one, this shade right here, this is a little bit more shimmery. Very pretty, though. I think I'm going to go with this one in the top corner. I think that will look nice and peachy on the skin. And should go decently well with, regardless of which direction I go with this look. This is kind of a satin matte. Like you can see, it's got a slight glow to it. It's not a super flat matte shade. It's a pretty color. Slightly patchy, but the tone itself, I think, is really pretty. Just a nice everyday peachy look to skin. I like to take it up to my temples a little bit. I get that little draping effect. I used to focus it right here on my apples of my cheeks, but I find that doing my blush this way actually works better for my face shape. For this look, I think I want to go with Hopeless Romantic, which is kind of has a little bit more of a pink tone to it. Has those little tiny little white kind of specks through it, like rose gold specks. I'm using my AOA Studio highlighting brush here. We're just going to kind of go over it a little bit. Now these are illuminating powders, not highlighters, so I'm expecting the formula to be a little bit more subtle and not like super glowy and bright on the skin. I have already tested one other one. The shade is Do No Harm. Very soft, kind of like champagne, almost candlelight glow to the skin. Really pretty. Okay, that is nice. It is showing a slight bit more texture than I like to see in the skin, but it is a smooth formula. It's very glowy and iridescent. It's pretty. I'm going to take my blush brush. I like to go back over the highlighter with a blush brush just to kind of make sure everything is melted together and I don't have like a streak going on the top of my cheek. So far, I am really liking how my skin is looking. I think it looks pretty healthy and glowy, but not like over dewy. I have oily skin, so of course I don't want like a super glow to the skin, but everything is just looking very healthy right now. All right, now for eyeshadow. It's been a long time since I've dipped into like a rainbow palette. Where do I want to take this? That is the question. I've done a lot with like greens and yellows lately, and I've kind of done a little bit of reds. Where do we want to go? This is tough. Let me think on this just a second, and then we will come back and I'll start putting together my look. All right, so I think I have a decent idea of what it is that I want to do. I do want to test out as many shades in this little palette as possible, so we're going to do kind of a gradient, you know, into different colors so I can test out as many as possible. I'm going to start out with this shade right here on the outer corner, and then we're going to go into the purple, and I think I want to take the pink in the middle. So let us start there. Should I start with the pink? You know what? I think I'm going to start with the pink and then make my way out, so that way it kind of blends in a little bit better. So we're going to dip into this pink here. I'm going to use my, what is this? The B4, I think it is, Blend Bunny brush. This palette was $1. I've never used a formula from BR Beauty, so I don't really know what to expect. The ones from ShopMissA are like, or not ShopMissA, AOA Studio specifically, are really, really good. And whoa, that is actually pretty pigmented. I don't have any plans to actually go anywhere today. I'm just going to be filming some declutters from a Makeup and Declutter series. The first part 1, which is the makeup collection, that should already be up on my channel. I'll link it down below and drop a card up here somewhere so you guys can check that out. That's actually a little bit more pigmented than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to take some of the color off my brush here so I can kind of soften the inner part. It's actually really pretty. You know, with little inexpensive palettes like this, you just don't really know what to expect, but wow. That was way more pigmented than I was thinking it was going to be. Okay, now I'm going to take the same brush, dip into the purple, and we're going to take this just right in there. Purples are a little bit harder to formulate, so let's see what we have here. Oh, that's pretty too. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, that's actually decently pigmented. It's pretty smooth. Nice. These two shades are just kind of blending almost right into each other. There's not like a huge difference between the two. Now I'm going to take this brush from Beauty Bay and we're going to go into this blue shade, put that on the outer corner, and just kind of softly blend that into our crease. One thing I just noticed is this is an all matte palette, so I'm probably going to pull some of my highlighters or the illuminating powders and like use those as shimmers. All right, here it goes. Just going to sit that here and just kind of blend it at an angle. Is that a part of the eye? That's pretty too. It's not like super pigmented right off the bat. I'm going to kind of build it up a little bit, but wow, that is nice. So far, I am very pleasantly surprised by the performance in this palette. Just going to softly blend that into the purple so that we have a little gradient on the end. And then just softly take it into the crease. It's starting to look slightly patchy, so I'm just going to work on that blend. This is not the most amazing formula that I've ever used, but it's actually looking really nice. For the lower lash line, I'm going to take a little bit of this bright green here. We're just going all out. Like I said, I want to try to use as many shades as I can. I'm not really going anywhere, so it doesn't matter if I'm looking super bright today. Just going to slowly blend this into the lower lash line. Okay, that shade's a little bit lighter. It's not as pigmented as the shades on the top. Very pretty. To finish up the mattes, I'm going to take my B2 Blend Bunny brush and dip into the yellow. Lay that right in here. It's not like a super pigmented yellow, but hell, excuse my language, that's actually got some decent amount of pigment too. Ooh. I have to say, overall, I am pretty impressed with this little palette. I'm going to take the Hopeless Romantic shade here, and I'm going to take a flat brush, and I'm going to lay this on the lid. This has a little bit of a coral, kind of a pink to it. So I'm going to lay that here. Very pretty. And I think it goes really well with the matte shades on the eyelid. For the inner corner, we're going to take Blend Bunny 3. And I think I'm going to take this one right here, which is the lighter, more iridescent shade. The shade is Wish on a Star. So we have right there. And I'm going to take a Blend Bunny brush. And I'm just going to lay this one in the inner corner as just to brighten things up. And that's pretty too. Wow. I have to say, you guys, I'm pretty pretty happy with how this look came together. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but yeah, I'm liking it. I think it looks pretty nice. I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to do some liner and put on some lashes. The liner that I'm going to use today is also from AOA Studios. It is the Artista liner in black. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know this is one of my favorite liners. I mean, just super black, super nice pointed brush tip. It gives me a nice clean line. Other than my NYX Epic Ink Liner, this one is my favorite, and this is only $1. Eye look is complete. I am really loving how it came out today. My lower waterline, I went ahead and tested out one of these new AOA Studio Cream Gel Liners. This one is in Cool Daze. It's a really pretty, like, bright sky kind of teal blue. It actually went on really creamy. I didn't have any problems. It wasn't like tuggy or pulley or anything. I might go back on to the ShopMissA website and go ahead and order the rest of them in the collection. All right, moving on to lips. This is the last thing that we're going to be testing out today. If you recall from my haul, I picked up 3 of the Starry 24-hour luster lips. I'm assuming that means that it's supposed to last for 24 hours. Otherwise, why would you need your liquid lipstick to last 24 hours? And honestly, I don't believe for 1 minute that it's going to last 24 hours. But we are going to kind of test it out to see if it at least dries down. The shade that I'm going to use today is Raspberry. Let me double check and make sure that is in fact the name. Raspberry Charlotte. I need to pick out a lip pencil. I'm going to use this one from Beauty Bay. The shade is in Heart. So let me line my lips real quick and then we will throw this on. All right, now for our lip or luster lip. Doe foot, slightly angled. Has kind of a lip gloss fragrance. Kind of sweet. Just gonna start applying this. So I did the swatches. The shade was like really creamy. Oh, that is nice. It's opaque. It's not super thick, not super thin. The doe foot is really helping to get into those little crevices and the little corners. Pretty shade. That shade is really pretty. And I love how smooth it looks in the lips. It's not looking all dry and like cakey and crusty. I'm going to give it a minute to see if it just dries down, and then we will come back and do our transfer resistant kiss test. So it's been about a minute. Let's go ahead and do our kiss test. I'm just going to do it in this hand where I have the liners. Let me show you real quick. You see that? This is how good these liners are. Like, it's been stuck on my hand and it doesn't even move. But let's go ahead and do the kiss test. All right. Pretty decent. There's a slight ring right here. That part probably wasn't like completely dry. But other than that, you guys, there is no transfer to my lips at all. This is what I'm going to do. Since it claims to be a 24-hour luster lip, I'm going to keep this on throughout the day, eating and drinking, just kind of test the formula out, and then I will try to remember to drop a pinned comment and just let you guys know how it wore throughout the day. Not really expecting much, but I might be pleasantly surprised. Alright, so that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up. It really does help with the channel. If you are new to the channel, you are not already subscribed, I would love it if you would consider joining my little family and hitting subscribe. And make sure you tap the notification bell so you get notified of any videos coming up in the future. You don't want to miss any videos coming up in my summer makeup collection and declutter series. You can also follow me on my other socials. I am on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Be safe, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.